everybody. I'm Jesse, and welcome to another edition of Gen X Thinks. And today I'm going to talk about whether or not we've been indoctrinated through our entertainment industry. Because that's something I've heard my entire life, and I've actually thought about it quite a bit throughout my entire life. But just recently, I just kind of had an epiphany, if you will, thinking about it, and I've come to a conclusion that we are, and I'll explain it. So throughout my entire life, ever since I was a kid, I've heard, the entertainment industry is bad, and as I got older, I heard that we're basically being programmed through the entertainment industry and all this. But I would think about it, and when I watch these movies, it's always the good guy that wins. The good guy will go up against the deep state or whatever, And a lot of times it's bad elements inside the CIA or whatever. It's not like the entire CIA. A lot of times. Sometimes it is the entire CIA. But the good guy will go up against or the good guy is inside the CIA, and the CIA are the good guys sometimes in some of these movies. But as a rule, in these movies, the good guy always wins. Now, sometimes, there are movies where, the good guy dies. But even then, a lot of times he won, and then he'll die at the end. So how is that programming me to obey or whatever? How is that indoctrinating me to see, the CIA and the deep state and the government and all this stuff, the big pharmaceutical industry and the big tech industries as the good guys, right? That's not happening when I look at the entertainment industry. That's not the message I'm receiving. So how am I being indoctrinated? How have I been indoctrinated? And the answer is pretty simple once it came to me. Now, I've watched these movies my whole life. I've always been a movie buff. I love these movies. And we'll take The Matrix, for example. Now, in The Matrix, most of us have seen it. Neo gets his power and he fights against the system, and he triumphs. Now he dies at the end of the third movie. But my realization is that in almost all of these movies, it's one person who is raging against the system and fighting against the bad guys while I sit back and watch. Okay? I am used to watching someone else on a screen fighting against the system. I'm used to that. That's normal for me. I don't go out and fight against the system. I watch someone else do it on a screen. One person. And it's never, the only time I've seen all of humanity or a big part of the population stand up in a movie is against an alien invasion. We'll look at Independence Day. Aliens invaded, and what do we get? The whole world comes together, didn't they? The whole world united against an alien invasion. Now, that's the only time the world unites is against an alien invasion. Now, all the other times when they're fighting against the government or some kind of deep state or some kind of bad guy, it's one hero fighting raging against the machine. iRobot, these kind of things, and this one hero saves the world. It's not all of us coming together and doing it together, right? It's not all of us coming together and just changing the world. It's one person. Now, throughout history, that just doesn't happen. One person didn't just, win the French Revolution. One person didn't win the American Revolution. One person didn't defeat whatever army. But that's the message we're told. One person does it. And it's never us. We're always watching that person save us. And we're always watching that person save the world. And we're in that world. So we're programmed to look for a savior, to watch a savior go out there and do what's right, while I sit on my couch and, eat snacks and processed food and go to work tomorrow. That is the definition of indoctrination. So what is this telling us? You have all this division, this divisive rhetoric out of the media, from our politicians, constantly dividing us, these politicians. It's all about division and making us believe that we are weak, making us look to someone else to save us, which is the exact opposite of the truth. We are strong. We're the intelligent ones. We're the ones out here who are splitting atoms and, building skyscrapers and doing all this magnificent stuff. We do that. These politicians and these bankers and these tech oligarchs, they don't do that. They either take from or manipulate other people into doing it for them. They don't do this stuff. We do. We have the power to control our own destiny, the power to control our own country, the power to control our own civilization and our culture, but we're indoctrinated into thinking that we don't. We're indoctrinated into thinking that each other are the enemy. We're indoctrinated into thinking some savior is going to come rescue the world. And if, by chance, aliens do show up, then the government's going to save us. Trust of the government. And if we start thinking outside that box we're programmed to think in, if we start realizing that we, the people, have the power, the people of America, the people of Canada, the people of Norway, Great Britain, Australia, the people of Western civilization, we have the power. And if we ever decide to exercise it, if we can ever figure out how to put all these ridiculous, petty squabbles aside and come together, we will change the world. And that's a fact. And this manipulation by the monarchies and the oligarchs and the emperors has gone back throughout time, throughout history. Here in 2024, we're supposed to be advanced. We're supposed to be beyond this shit. Can you imagine what this world would be like if we just put aside all these stupid, unnecessary wars, fixed our medical and pharmaceutical industries, and concentrated on actual health instead of profits, concentrated on peace instead of profits, and use technology to make our lives better? It would just be amazing. But we don't. Because we don't think we can do it. And there's the thing. We're indoctrinated into thinking we can't. We just can't. It's impossible. Now, being in the military, we used to go on a run, and it was called the Sound to Narrows Run, right? And it was a very long run. I think it was 8.3 miles or something, a run. And when you get to a point, you think that you just can't take another step. You know it. I just can't take another step. I need to fall out of formation and just fall back. I'm done. I can't do this anymore. It's impossible. your body is telling you to stop. You can't do this. This isn't possible. But at some point, your mind takes over and you take that next step. Right? Because you have that power. You have that power to do what you know you can't do. And there was, in this Sound to Narrows run, there was we were at the end. It's a whole battalion formation. The formation's like a mile long. And we're running all in our formation. The battalion is separated into companies, and we're running in our company formation, and there are several other company formations ahead of us. Well, someone from a company formation ahead of us, he did that, a fat guy, and he fell out of the formation. And he started lagging behind, right? And there was another guy running with him, trying to keep him motivated, trying to keep him, up to. He was trying to help him finish the run. And me and my buddy were 20 years old, 21, something like that, just full of piss and vinegar. And we saw this fat guy falling back, and the guy running with him, trying to keep him motivated. Well, we started yelling at the guy who was, doing the right thing and trying to keep his buddy in the formation. We started yelling at that guy, get him a body bag. Just let him die, let him go. Let that piece of shit fall out. We don't need him. He's a piece of shit. He's going to get somebody killed in battle. Just let him go. All this shit. Just, and a lot more horrible stuff, using a lot worse language at this guy. Well, the fat guy looked over at us with this look on his face, like a mixture of shame and anger at us. And he lifted his head up and picked up his pace and ran back up ahead and got caught up with his company up there. All right. And this is about halfway through the run, maybe a little earlier. And we never saw the guy again. He never fell back again because he knew we were back there. He knew we were behind him and we were going to do it again to him. And that might sound harsh to a lot of people, but he thought that he couldn't do it until he saw us, until we shamed him into realizing that he could. And I don't know if to this day, if that guy thanks us for that or not. Maybe he still looks back and hates us. But he finished that run because of us. And that's the kind of thing that people need to understand, that we can. I don't know if it's going to take shaming like that, or just an awakening, or what. But we can do things. We can do anything. Anything within the realm of physics that is physically possible. We can do it. It's just whether or not we're going to decide to do it or not. Am I going to sit on my couch and let the world unfold around me? And let these people keep raping our country, robbing us blind? Or am I going to realize that I can change? I can do something about it. And I'll leave you there with that. If you'd like to support the channel by becoming a member, I'll put that link down in the description. Or you can head over to the channel page and become a member that way. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can do so by clicking on that super thanks button down there. Either that, or you can hop over to Buy Me a Cup of Coffee and buy me a cup of coffee. I appreciate those of you who do that stuff. If you're interested in Gen X gear, you can head over to Redbubble and check that stuff out. We got all kinds of cool stuff over there. Gen X Thinks and Gen X branded stuff. But I'll put that link down in the description as well. If you can't or don't want to support the channel in any of those ways, you can always do so by sharing these videos on your social media. That helps out an awful lot. Thank you very much to those of you who do that. I sincerely appreciate it. If you have any ideas for future episodes of Gen X Thinks, please put those down in the comments, or you can head over to the channel page and email us from over there. And as always, stay frosty, Gen X, and I'll see you on the next one.